And welcome back, everybody, to the Fifth Line podcast. We are sans Eric this week. He's driving home from Binghamton because we're supposed to get some snow or something, right?
Yeah, I know it's supposed to hit up here tomorrow night into Tuesday morning, and we're like set to get like 8 to 12 inches of snow.
Same down here.
So
that's what my Weather Channel app told me. So I'm gonna believe it.
Last time we had snow projections, they were about 10 inches off, so I'm going to believe it when I see it.
Yeah, they were short, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they said 16 to 18. We got like 32.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was bad. There was a good like foot on top of my car.
Was that this year?
Yeah, this was like a few weeks ago. It was pretty recent.
It was in the new year.
Yeah.
I think.
It was in 2021 for sure.
Yeah, that's not
it wasn't great, but you know,
we haven't had anything like that up here.
You guys are lucky, I guess.
Be grateful, because that sucked.
I liked it. All right, so we're going to start with some NWHL stuff today. The season has commenced, and it will now continue without one of its teams. Benny, I will have you take it away.
That would be the Metropolitan Riveters after they withdrew due to several COVID positives on the team. And then obviously with that many on one team, you can't really do much about that. When it's a 2-week tournament, you can't really do reschedulings, I guess.
Was there an actual number, or was it just several?
They've been very hush on that. I've noted, because I've been talking with the sports editor at work, because he's been trying to get stuff on it, and haven't been able to get much, especially in terms of I'm going to read from, this is an article by Lou Reuter of the Adirondack Daily Enterprise. It's the local paper for the Lake Placid area where the tournament's being hosted. And one of the quotes that I thought was a little odd was referencing NWHL spokesperson Chris Botta. He said that Botta said all players and staff associated with 6 teams are required to have negative COVID-19 tests before traveling to Lake Placid, adding that after arriving for the condensed season, people affiliated with the squads, including players, are going to be tested regularly while in Lake Placid. Botta would not say how regularly those tests would be, and Botta did not comment about any possible COVID-19 cases among the other 5 teams playing in Lake Placid. So, as they return for, what was this? I'm bringing up the format now. With the games that have been played already, they're having the Boston Pride and the Buffalo Buttes play in a best-of-3 play-in series to figure out who's going to be going against the or is going to be in the tournament with the Whitecaps, the Whale, and the Toronto Six.
Toronto came on.
Yeah, they did.
By the way.
So hopefully there won't be any more cases in that stretch of games, and they can get the rest of this season done without too much more issue. But I will say, I take issue with them calling it a bubble season, because in the same Lou Reuter article that I was referencing before, where is the section? League spokesperson Chris Botta would not explain the rules of the bubble, specifically what players and staff are allowed to do, but he did say players were allowed to walk between the Olympic Center and their respective hotels while staying in the village.
Yeah,
so that's not a bubble.
Sort of counts that of you as leaving the bubble.
Yeah, that's not a bubble. I don't know if they were just taking that as like, I think I don't know how long they've been here, so I don't know if they would have been here long enough to like come in contact with a COVID case in like downtown Lake Placid and have the symptoms develop yet, because I don't think it's been 10 days and you're generally not symptomatic until that point at least. But still, I just wonder if like in the planning of that, they were just like, that's a risk we're gonna just take, I guess. Because like, if you can just walk around downtown Lake Placid and then go back into the bubble, then
yeah,
it defeats the purpose of having a bubble.
It's not a bubble. I wouldn't care but you can't call it a bubble.
So what? For the NHL, did they not let him out?
They didn't go.
No, those guys were in a hotel basically for 3 months. The Eastern guys switched hotels, but
you could see there was a video that one of us put in the group chat, and it was a sped up, like walkthrough of the route they took. They were in a thing. They were basically in a tunnel from the hotel to the rink.
I think I was the one that shared that, and it was because there was 2 hotels that were made up the Toronto bubble. One of them you had to get bused to the arena from. One of them was right next to the arena and was accessible through underground tunnel systems and whatnot. So the players that were staying that one literally did not go outside. I mean, they went outside in the sense that there was I think there was portions of their path that were outside with gates, but otherwise they were always indoors. So there's that, and then you hear this of oh, you can. I guess I don't know.
I mean,
I hope the rest of the season goes well.
Yeah. So the standings, as of right now, the Six are in first with 7 points. Minnesota is second with 6 points. Connecticut and Boston are actually tied for fourth with 4 points. And then Buffalo has 3 points. So I'm kind of confused as to why there's a play-in. I guess because Buffalo didn't get to play all the games. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I hope Buffalo can actually pull it off, but they lost to Boston 6-0 today, so probably not going to happen.
I think,
but who knows?
It's not a great start. Who knows?
But,
hockey's weird.
Play-ins, Canadians and Penguins. Play-ins can have weird things happen.
I would argue that the continued play of Matt Murray so far proves that it wasn't that weird, but
I don't think Matt Murray's been terrible.
No, we're not gonna start pointing blame at Matt Murray. The Sens' defense.
I don't think Matt Murray's been terrible. He has
the Sens' defense is so bad right now, and that's what DJ Smith and every commentator.
Ben's looking up the stats. He's looking up the stats. You can tell.
It's the defense. I swear. Yes, he's giving up goals, so you're gonna come up with some bullshit like goals against average. But
no, goals against average doesn't really mean a whole lot because that is, I think, a lot more indicative of team play. But where is it?
Everything I've seen about the Senators is that their
decor is a garbage fire. It's not good. I would agree that yes, that will probably have a negative effect on the goalie. But I'm trying to find his save percentage because
859.
It is 859.
Yeah.
But when you're giving up 50 shots a night,
that would make the save percentage go up.
If he's actually stopping stuff.
It all depends on how dangerous the chances are. If it's if you're giving up, 5 3-on-1s and he's letting those cross crease one-timers.
There's not much you can do about that.
That one you can't really blame him, but if it's just shots, then you can blame him.
Keep beating him on his glove hand too. His weak spot is glove side, and they keep beating him on his glove side.
Nick Suzuki brutalized Matt Murray on his glove side in that series. But before we get off on my Murray tangent too long, what were we talking about?
I just wanted to finish up the NWHL. The finals are going to be NBCSN. It's the 4th and the 5th. I think they have to play whoever plays in that championship game. I think they play back-to-back. And the 5th is the championship game, I believe. It might be the 3rd and the 5th, but I'm not positive. Moving on to another goaltender. This wouldn't have really made the cut for this podcast, but Jimmy Howard grew up about 2 hours away from our hometown, 2.5 hours-ish. So he's a hometown guy. And surprisingly, he actually has a pretty nifty little stat line there, if you can see. He played 500.
It's not bad at all.
He played 543 games in the National Hockey League. Pretty good amount. He had 246 wins, 196 losses, a .912 save percentage, and a 2.62 goals against average. So that's pretty good for a kid from small town New York.
Especially some of the Detroit teams he was playing behind, too.
Well, he played a little bit he played a little bit in the era, the Red Wings domination era, didn't he? Like towards the tail end.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, his stats would probably be higher if he wasn't on the Detroit Red Wings of the last,
like 5 years.
I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years. Yeah, like it would probably be a bit better. Why is my computer not charging?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. He retired, by the way. I don't think I actually said that. I think I just started talking about him. So he decided to retire. I think his contract was up with Detroit, and then I'm pretty sure Detroit asked him to come back for a couple games, and he was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to be done. So.
Yeah, and I can understand that in terms of he's kind of had his career. He's done what he wants. I don't know if I would want to like stick around for a obviously rebuilding team either.
And at this time as well with like
like with how crazy the season is with all the shit that's going, like it makes sense to me why you would bow out now.
Yeah.
What did he was around for a cup. He had to have been, wasn't he? Is he the 08 one? Yeah, he was around for the 08 one. He looks like he was a fairly minor part of that team. He only had 4 games played in the regular season and playoffs.
What was that? Did you back in the Osgood days?
I think yes. I think that he didn't get any playoff time. He didn't get any playoff time, so he probably got a ring, but wasn't on the cup. But still,
yeah,
I don't know. On a cup winning team, that must have been cool.
Yeah.
Wait. So I mean, good for him. He had a good career. There's nothing.
Oh,
completely respectable in terms of his stats.
Oh, interesting. So in those first 3 seasons, he didn't play enough for it to count as his rookie season. So his rookie season was actually in 2009, 2010, and he actually finished second in Calder voting.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's something like
Vezina.
30 games at least or something for a rookie season. Like it's
whatever it is, whatever it is, it's not 4, 4, and 1. So
it's not 9. That makes sense.
Because that was his first 3 seasons. Which I mean, when back then Detroit was a powerhouse, so not altogether surprised at that. But once again, Ben, I'm going to throw it to you for this one because you have a lot more to say on this than us.
Yes, because I'm a little annoyed because this is after the Armia thing last week.
Are we going to be talking about this fucking hit?
Yes.
They reviewed it, dude.
Yeah,
that was a bad hit.
It was a dumb review. It was wrong. I don't give a fuck if they reviewed it.
They're fucking paid to do this job.
Yes, and the Department of Player Safety is run by George Peros.
I was gonna say,
like one of the most famous goons in the like. No, it's like a joke. It's 2 weekends in a row.
Joke.
So yes, the point I put in the outline was why even is there a Department of Player Safety? Because why even is there? It's 2 weekends in a row. It's the Armia hit, which you can argue is just Tyler Myers being a taller guy, I guess. But like, it was also still a really reckless hit with like 3 minutes left in a 6-3 game. Like, fuck off. And then last night was just a hit clean to his head. There was no call in the game. And then they said in their reasoning that it didn't get a suspension because it appeared to be unavoidable.
Now, what I'm going to say is absolutely should have been a penalty, absolutely should be a suspension of some kind. Their unavoidable reasoning is... I can see it a little bit. I can see it a little bit because of how fast the game is played. Because he's coming in to hit the guy. He didn't take any extra strides, and Kotkaniemi just turned in towards him, and then he hit him in the head. It's totally a penalty. But the unavoidable excuse I see. I don't think it's a valid excuse. But I do think that it was slightly unavoidable, just because I don't think he meant to hit him in the head. And that being said, he still bent him over backwards, and it should have been a call of some kind.
And I admittedly was not watching the game in real time because I was with some family last night. So a lot of it was me sort of filtering it through like the GIFs and everything I was seeing online, which isn't the
Twitter.
best way.
You got it from Twitter, did you, Benny? Oh,
yeah. But like you watch a replay, you watch a replay of a play. It's a replay of a play. You'll see what happened. And I don't know what happened after that, but apparently the Habs came out of that play with a penalty. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I understand that, yeah, sure, okay, the unavoidable thing, okay, it's under the rules that it can't be a suspension or whatever. Maybe adjust the rules.
Yeah, I think the rules could be adjusted.
I don't know.
I don't understand how head contact of any kind isn't something.
Yeah, especially when that was like, it's usually the primary point of contact is the head is usually like the like criteria they look at. It was the point of contact in that hit.
It was his hands, right?
It was like forearm to elbow area, like up into his head, basically.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
And
it seems like
Kotkaniemi came back in and was luckily okay, which he fared a little bit better than Armia did, but it could have easily not been the case. I don't know.
I think he was lucky that it was the forearm, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't get as much weight behind
like this.
Yeah. What is your opinion on this, Ben? Are the Canadians being targeted by the other Canadian teams?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that this division.
I didn't say it was. I was just asking the question.
This division is just turning out to be as hotly contested and as like just rough and tumble and like just every night no shifts off as everybody kind of thought it was going to be as it went along, as these teams who generally don't get along all that well in like best of times are just going to only play each other. I'm not shocked that this kind of stuff is happening because it's happening in other games too, not just with the Habs. I think, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tkachuk had his nights his couple days
Toronto.
against Toronto too.
Yeah, and then he got fucking rocked by Sherratt, and I loved it.
Did he? Let me tell you. Yeah. You want to know here's what I think about Sherratt. In the few games that I've watched, he seems like a whiny baby. Like whenever he takes a hit, he starts slapping the dude with his stick. And like looking at the ref like he did something wrong, and I'm like, dude, it's just a hit. Yeah, I've seen that like multiple times, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't love Sherratt. I mean, he's an okay player. I don't know that should necessarily be on their first pairing, but
on the 1D.
Yeah, but he's been serviceable with Shea, and he definitely has gotten a lot better than he was rough at the beginning of last season, and then as it went along. He got a lot more steady, and like he's kind of continued that through last playoffs and then into now. But yeah, no, he's not a nice guy. He does cross-check the fuck out of people.
There's a lot of people that do that.
Like, I don't understand how these aren't calls, but like I just go with it because I'm like
the officiating.
Helping us.
The officiating.
It's really fucking weird this year.
Gentlemen.
What'd you say?
They're tougher up north. I said it's Canadian hockey, ladies and gentlemen.
They're tougher up north. They're dude. So many of the players are freaking Canadian.
Like there's so much Canadian in the entire league. It's like that's why the thing where I'm like, oh yeah, no, Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup in like however many years since the Habs Cup. I'm like,
Canadian players
they though?
Canadian players have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the officiating, the terrible officiating from the bubble. Seems to have continued because
it seems to be like kind of all over. Like there was a Leafs Edmonton game I was watching the other night. I think Steve Dangle went off in his review of it too, where he was like, even I was getting annoyed by calls against Edmonton. I'm like, there was some shit where I'm just like, that's a penalty, and then this shit like Kotkaniemi and hit in the head is like nothing. I'm like, because I remember distinctly there was one against Vancouver. Suzuki gets tripped down by Bo Horvat, and then like as he's like sort of spinning out on the ground, like just like taps him on the shin pad with his stick, like as he's just sort of like flinging around. He's like, whatever, what the fuck, like a thing that happens like 50 times in a game, every game, and they got Suzuki got a slashing penalty for it.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I don't know.
That happened last night with McDonough. It was seriously like, you know how when you're watching a game and you see a penalty and you're like, oh, that's a penalty. They're gonna call that.
And then they just don't.
Or if you're watching and you don't see anything and then the whistle blows and you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, which is why I don't know how they hope to have any hope in like getting casual fans. Because like when I mean they've gotten a little bit better in terms of the review stuff because they made the offside reviews a little clearer and they made the punishment for getting a review wrong like the penalty. So like people just don't use the challenge as much anymore. But, like when that was happening, like how would you explain half that shit and like what makes it go which way to normal fan? Like I don't know.
It really
because half the time I'm just like.
Maybe
I just like I see a thing happen and like they tell me what the call is on the broadcast and I'm like okay I guess I don't know what makes it that but sure.
It's just there's been a lot. I'd like to jump ahead here, going off of the rough and tumble play up north. There's actually been quite a there was quite a battle last night between two unlikely foes, Tampa Bay and Nashville.
Oh yeah,
Nashville.
This was the first game this year that they've played them, and it's like they played like 5 playoff series against them.
Interesting.
It got freaking nasty. Like in the third period, there was a scrum after like 90% of the whistles. It was insane. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. They've never played in one playoff series against each other. It is very weird.
Yeah. No, and they're like, I think because they're out of conference, generally you only ever play anybody that's out of conference twice a year. So like it's a team you never see. But that's half the fun of the realigned divisions this year is that you're going to get some stuff like that where it's teams that normally only come across each other once or twice. And you even saw that a little bit with Vancouver, Montreal and some of the heated moments there. But like, it's interesting that Tampa, Nashville is like the two that come out. I think you're going to see a lot of that in all of the divisions in terms of just teams that normally don't, even like the divisions that were both East Division like realignments. Like if you take an Atlantic team and put them with primarily Metro teams, those are still teams they play way less than their divisional rivals in a given season. Yeah. So you're going to get some cool new stuff, I think. Some
cool new things. Rivalries. Yeah, this one's going to be bad if that was game 1. Just gonna say that.
It was that rough, eh?
But dude, it was bad. The friggin' Olivier got punched in the face a bunch because he like grabbed Cal Foot from behind, like around his head, and pulled him down. And then Cal Foot got up and punched him in the face with his glove, and then he was bleeding all over his visor and stuff. I was like, "Jeez, relax, ladies."
Yikes.
Yeah. So
it's all the divisions that are getting
it's all of them,
hot and bothered.
It's gonna be bad when playoffs come through.
I know we're like teams are at max like 8 games into the season.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
It's gonna be interesting. Benny, how are your churros doing there, buddy?
They're not doing well. They're going very badly. I'm still in 7th.
Hold up. I want to talk about this stupid fucking trade that you two did. Mike and I had a conversation earlier today
Benny.
about
Get
this.
Fleeced.
Are you kidding me?
I stand by it. I stand by it.
Mitch Marner. For anybody listening,
Nick Suzuki.
Shut the hell up. Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews.
Actually, my point doesn't work. They got shut out last night. Never mind.
Mark Stone and Nick Suzuki. Are you fucking kidding me?
Now,
like, dude,
he based his trade on his dislike of the Leafs and his love of the Habs.
And that's exactly why you can't win at fantasy. We looked at your roster today, and it's like 70% Canadian teams.
That's
like,
not
there
true.
you go.
Oh, Canadian teams, yes.
Canadian teams, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, there you go. That's why Ben doesn't have points some nights, because he's fucking just dealing with Canadian teams, and he's not spread out throughout the league.
Yeah, we talked a bunch. That's why you got that influx of trades from Nick and Danielle. They were just doing stupid trades.
Okay, yeah, but like the Danielle one, what was that?
Probably Rask or something.
It was Rask for Carl. Was it Carlson? I think it was Carlson.
No, it wasn't Carlson because
Hedman. It was Rask for Hedman, which actually not the worst trade proposal.
Oh my God, Ben, you suck at fantasy.
They have the same amount of fan points this year, Mike.
Hedman's gonna play more games than Rask.
I don't. I'm a little short in the goalie market.
What is? Wait, who are your goalies?
You're gonna be fine.
Oh, Bobrovsky.
I have Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky's.
And Lanner is not proving to be as much help as I thought he was going to be, and Mackenzie Blackwood is on the IR. So that trade,
okay, I see it.
It's not good. That's why I rejected it. But like, it did make me, maybe. But then I was like, no.
All right.
Nick proposed to me twice. Keith Yandel for John Carlson, and I'm like, no.
Good trade, buddy. That's right. That's a GM right there.
That was the one I denied it once, and then didn't you say do it, you fucker, or you bitch, or something like that, and I just denied it again. Like, yes. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb.
I like your style, Nick.
I said
we should get together sometime. Make a trade.
Fucker.
There we go.
So it's me up top. Nick is, I think, 15 points behind me, and then Ben's in the basement, unfortunately.
I am still gonna make a comeback, boys.
Dude, keep trying, because you know what? If you get rid of some of your Canadian players, you might be able to.
I need to diversify a little bit from my Habs players.
Yeah,
I have too many
you've got
Habs
5,
players.
I think. 4?
Yeah,
four at the most, or at the least.
I think it's at least 4, and
I think it's time to call it quits on Weber.
I would say Weber would be. Yeah, but of the Canadians players.
Well, what's he averaging you for points? Because like, there's better defensemen out there that.
I don't think there's that many.
I don't think there's any better defensemen in the free agent market. You'd have to try and.
I would have to try and trade, which is why I'm like, I'm just gonna hold on to him for a second. But let me see. He has gotten me 49. He's gotten me 50 fan points. It's just like 2 points shy of what Hedman's gotten this year. So I'm like, he's not been bad. He's been fine.
What you need is like a rock star forward.
Yeah, you need a forward. We were looking through, and you have like no like you have like line one players, but you don't have any like stars.
He had 2.
Oh yeah, people. Yeah. He gave them both to me.
Yeah, and I would argue Mark Stone is a home run player.
Yeah,
Mark Stone is.
But
Mark
Stone's good.
I'm not sleeping on Mark Stone. I drafted Mark Stone, and then I gave him to you for 2 ridiculous players that are better than Mark Stone.
Yeah, but
scoring points, fantasy points.
Yes, that's true. Okay,
that's what we're playing.
We're not playing. Let's draft a real team and see how long they last.
That would be fun to do.
Who's gonna get the most points in the least amount of time? Mike, because you just fucked me over.
Thanks, Ben. That was why he did it secretly. He wasn't being a noob. He was just screwing you. Thanks, Ben. Good job.
That's totally what it was.
And my team's about to get a whole lot scarier because I just gave my mom Tavares for Brent Burns. So my defense is gonna have a whole lot of good. My offense is going to have a whole lot of good. And my goaltending is pretty okay.
See, my problem with fantasy is I always... I basically draft some decent players and then go strictly sleeper picks. Just because it's fun to me. Because I have Kirill Kaprizov, I have Nick Suzuki now, I have Sam Girard from Colorado.
That's funny.
I have Jack Hughes from New Jersey.
Listen,
I remember like back a couple years ago, Tarasenko was one of the first 5 drafted one season, and like Charlie Coyle was getting picked, and like I had Justin Tucker and Charlie Coyle for a couple seasons, like part of a season. Those guys are just gone. Like I know Tarasenko's out, but yeah, it's different. It's a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do some stuff. Although I did grab Bo Horvat for free off the waiver wire the other day. I don't know why nobody had him.
Listen, because I was looking at him. I looked at him about 5 different times, and I was like, I have too many teams in the Canadian division. I can't take this guy. So
I kind of was thinking that way, and then he scored on the Habs like 4 times in 2 games. So I was like,
Yeah, I mean he's a good player. Listen, Ben, I'm gonna come in at you eventually here with a little trade. A little trade proposal, yes.
Well, I don't want your charity, damn.
It's not a charity because I'm going to improve my team even more. So
interesting.
But at the same time, I'm going to give you something you need.
Interesting.
Yep.
Hey, Mrs. Campbell, if you're watching, I'd like to trade you for Konechny, and I'd also like to trade you for Mr. Tavares. I'll give you Sid the Kid.
for Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares.
I'll give you your favorite player in the league. I'll give you
I would like Mr. Pajama Boy Tavares.
So if you're listening, let's talk.
You're witnessing the best in fantasy hockey GMs right here. This is how they work.
Clearly.
I'll take Mr. Tavares off your hands. All right. Let's move on here, shall we? Oh man. So did you guys see this goal? I'm sure you did. The McDavid.
I didn't see his overtime one, but I saw the earlier one. Is that one you're talking about?
I'm talking about the early one. Oh. I have never seen anything like that.
He's
in the NHL.
He is a human cheat code, my guy. That's why whenever people like try to like have any arguments about best player in the league, I'm like, yes, Nathan McKinnon, pretty fucking good. Sidney Crosby's kind of on the way down, still very fucking good though. But like, you don't see either of them just casually be able to do shit like that, just for fun.
Like, and the thing is, like, if you watch that, the entire time he has the puck, his head is up.
Yeah.
He never.
And he's rocking at full speed. There is no.
Hold on, I'm watching it right now.
He never one time glances down at the puck to see where it's at. He knows where it's at. It's on his stick and it's about to be in the net. Like,
yeah.
the things that dude can do, and he's our age, and I'm mad.
I don't. That's further. I don't understand how the Habs didn't let him or Draisaitl score in both games they played. I'm just like, okay, but no, he's nutty.
I mean, Carey Price is leaps and bounds better than Freddie too. So there's also.
I mean,
I wouldn't say leaps and bounds, but definitely better. I would say definitely better.
But they also had Jake Allen in for one of those games.
Yes, Jake Allen. Jake Allen. How are you feeling about Jake Allen, Benny?
Very good. He's been solid. I admittedly didn't watch last night's game, but like from all of what I was reading and like the game recaps and whatever, it doesn't sound like it really. He looked like he got outdueled by Markstrom, which.
Oh my gosh!
Markstrom's a better goalie. All right, sure. That's gonna happen. Some nights you have your backup in, but before that he had 2 wins, so he's 2-1 on the season, and he's looked pretty good for the most part when he's been playing. I think it's a solid plan going forward, and I think it's kind of working as the Habs were hoping it would work this summer when they got him. Like he's providing the Habs like a legit option for the first time in like 5 years to be able to actually give Carey rest. Yeah. So he's not, I mean, in a regular season, he'd be playing like 50 to 55, 60 games. And this season, I don't know what the equivalent would that be, like 40, 35, 40?
It'd be like 35, 40.
Yeah. I think. They're not doing that because they have a good enough goalie where they can afford to like trust that he'll actually make a save. Keith Kincaid haunts my nightmares from last season still.
Nick, how many points?
On the opposite side of that, the Senators don't have a goalie, a starter, or a backup that can make a save. They both suck.
See, that's the thing. And I like you were saying, you can't blame all of it on Murray. I agree with that. But also, the amount they traded for him and paid him said they thought he was going to be that goalie.
Listen, he could still get there. He could
still get there. Like with everything we're saying right now, we are 8 games into the season.
Yep.
8 of 56.
Go Murray.
Like there's so many chances for storylines to change from here on out. But what is it? 1-6-1. The Sens are now.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, but you know what? You won the first game, and it was the Leafs. So burn on them.
Who is functioning as their backup right now?
Marcus Högberg.
Oh. he has a funny name. I like it. Nick, real quick,
gem.
Real quick, Nick. How many points did Markstrom get you for that game against? Do you want me to just tell you? Because I know how much it was.
Nah, give me a second because I can pull it up. Unless you know it right now. I think it was 31, 32?
He got 32 points because it was a 34 save shutout. So we got all the 30 points for 34 saves, points for the win, and 5 points for the shutout. So he racked up some points there.
That just makes the pain of last night's game even worse.
Dude, 32 points from one player. I think that's
from
the
what?
most we've seen.
Fuck you.
I think that's the most
that's
we've
annoying.
seen from one player.
That's annoying.
Yeah, so
then maybe next year you can draft a good goalie.
Next year, or maybe you can get one of mine for the low price of your best player.
Who did you draft for goalies? Because those are not the goalies you started the season.
I drafted Robin Lehner and Elvis Merzlikins, and as I was drafting, I fully knew that goalie was where I had not really done enough. Like I
waited a little late, I think, to start on the goalie.
I think I took Lehner fairly early-ish, but then I didn't get a second until hella late. I still have. I'm holding on to Blackwood. He's on the IR right now because of COVID protocol, but I'm holding on to him because he came in lights out with New Jersey, and I think he could be something.
He could be. He could get you some points.
I'm gonna.
It's too bad you didn't have the foresight to grab Khudobin before I snatched him up.
Nick did.
Oh, I saw him.
Brought him in.
Why'd you pass on him?
I didn't think he was gonna do as well as he's doing right now.
Yeah, he's carried on.
I didn't think Dallas was going to come in.
Because Dallas has done nothing to prove that they weren't going to be good again this year.
No. Wait, what? Oh, are you being sarcastic and saying because they made the cup final? I wasn't saying. I was saying that they had a COVID delay of like 2 weeks to start the season, and they were missing some pieces.
Which was either going to end. It was either going to end one. It was either going to end a good way or a bad way. It was going to either put them way behind the 8 ball and rush around trying to win games, or the fact that they had 2 extra weeks of practice.
Well,
let me just say I didn't expect them to come out the gate to an 8-0 win. Basically, like I didn't.
Any of us did.
They're proving to be a bit better than I thought they were going to be.
Dallas, I think this we saw the like help they got from the extra 2 weeks of practice and rest and whatnot. We saw that now.
They actually.
They probably weren't practicing, but
because I think a lot of facilities generally get closed down whenever there's like a COVID outbreak that aren't usually allowed into their buildings for a little while in most of the cases so far.
The extra couple weeks of waiting then, because they were they were the other team that played the entire bubble. So I think we saw that already, and I think we're gonna see where it bites them later on when they're having to squeeze all these games in.
They're playing a lot of games real quick.
Yeah, I think that's when we'll see. And this is
they're not the only team now though, because what?
Yeah, no, Florida? They're not the only team. This is one of the other ones.
No. I know.
Fucked up Tampa too.
And then Carolina did it.
Yeah, Carolina made it even worse.
Azels.
Super fucked up Tampa. Yeah.
Azels, man. Yeah, you want to know how much it boned them? Tampa Bay is lower in the standings than Buffalo right now. That's how much it messed them up.
Sneaky good so far.
They have. I actually have them in this. They're 6th in the East, above the other 2 New York teams right now, and they're 17th in the league right now.
Right, like they're not amazing, but they're doing better than I thought they were.
4-4-2. They've played 10 games. So they've played the most.
Completely respectable for
absolutely.
Buffalo.
They're like we've talked about 100 times. Their biggest issue is their goalies. So
it is.
Hutton seems to
watch the game today. And
something though.
It's Ullmark, I think, is the one that's being sent.
It's Ullmark for sure. Hutton played today and didn't look good.
Ullmark's the one that's been winning the games. But yeah, I've been watching them. They seem. They're not flashy. They're not great, but they're getting points. So.
Hutton has an 8.95. Never mind.
Yeah, it's not Hutton. Not Hutton. It's Ullmark. Ullmark's trying to come into his own.
And I think like any Senators fan.
Ullmark's 9.14.
I think any Sabres fan going into the season knew that it was going to be Ullmark trying to win these games versus Hutton, because Hutton's not good. We knew that last year.
I mean, I don't know. Of those two, coming into this, I would have said either of them would have had just as good a chance.
I've heard more about Ullmark because he's younger, I think, and he was supposed to be good. Like before he came in and was not good. Oh, okay, never mind.
His career save percentage is .912.
Oh, I mean that's Jimmy Howard.
It's not terrible, and I think that's also I think he's been with Buffalo for a little bit. So that doesn't
a couple years,
help things either.
So overall, Buffalo not looking too bad. Also, some other standouts that I wanted to mention. Toronto appears to be appears to be you and me might have been correct on this one so far. Not very far in, but so far, me and Nick are correct on Toronto. 7-2-1.
Only because they haven't played the Habs enough yet.
Yes, they have not played the Habs enough yet. Yep.
But
I hope they get. I hope
they lost to them, Ben. And
I hope Carey gets
Toronto. So suck on that.
How'd they do since then, Nick?
How'd they do since then?
I get to hold that over you because it happened.
I plead the fifth.
I mean, yes, but again,
listen, we all knew, and I said this from the start. The Senators were not going to be good, and Ben says, "Oh, they're going to be good." No, Ben.
Yeah,
no,
Ben,
they
it's
won't
true.
Be good.
Ben has been the one
you.
hyping them up more than Nick. It's been
stand by it.
Every single time that we've talked about the Senators, I disagree with you 100% on that. They are so bad. They are one win.
Bringing it back. Just give them a little bit. They're gonna be fine. They're bringing it back,
dude. The ping ponging that's happening right now. So yeah, Toronto doing pretty good. Tampa they got boned by these two teams getting corona. They're 4-1-1, so their record's still pretty damn good. But like I haven't
played any games yet.
Yeah, like I said, they're 19th in the league, and that's just purely because they've played 6 games.
Oh man. So then that means their schedule's exactly lined up with
it's gonna
playing
be
Dallas and then playing Carolina, right? Because
it's gonna be similar.
Because Dallas is 4-1-0 or something like
4-1,
that right now.
Yeah, and they did just lose to Carolina.
So I'm looking at the standings right now, and it looks like in that Central Division, the only ones that didn't get fucked just from the pure luck of, I'm guessing they were scheduled to play against each other earlier in the season, is Nashville, Chicago, and Detroit, because they've all each played 8, 9, and 10 games.
Columbus.
So they must have just had games playing against each other, and then that just lucked them out of getting fucked in the schedule.
Columbus also has 9. Yeah, it's
Columbus too, yeah.
It's not games playing each other. It's really just not playing Carolina and Dallas.
That's what I'm saying. Tampa hasn't been able to play Carolina or Dallas, and Carolina has also not been able to play Tampa or Dallas, and on. Because every time a single team gets taken out in this divisional format, even for a second, it's affecting other teams in the schedule.
Yeah,
so
it's annoying.
It's bad.
But yeah, Florida also.
Yes, they
4-0-1. Them
5-0-1.
Did that? Oh, they must have played today. Let me refresh.
Hold on,
Let me refresh. Oh, they did play today, and they're now first.
Yeah, they won.
Holy!
They won today.
Tied for first. Dang.
Yeah, good for them.
3-2 against the Red Wings today.
And now Tampa's in 5th. Dang it, man!
Wow, yeah, no, they're out-dueling Tampa.
Oh, and Dallas and Carolina have the same. Oh no! I don't like it. Yeah, Tampa hasn't looked. They haven't looked bad, but they haven't looked great. They almost gave one. They almost gave up a free point last night against Nashville. But they didn't, so that's good.
Your version of not looking bad, but not looking great is 4-1-1. I think you got a good team.
Well, there have been some close games, but yeah, no, they're a good team. They'll come back. They'll come back here.
Isn't that like it's a season after a Stanley Cup?
Back to your point, Mike, about it affecting them later in the season. Those 3 teams,
they're going to be the ones that
we all suspect to be the top 3 teams in that division, are going to have a jam-packed schedule the rest of the way, and then getting them out of once they actually get into the playoffs, they're going to be that much tired because they just packed all those other games in prior to that.
Yeah, it's not going to be great, but that's
good luck.
I will say Columbus, yes, it's mostly because they've already played 9 games. But them being in second right now, and they still need to get Jack Roslovic and Laine. Those guys are still coming.
That's why I picked them to be in the playoffs. I think they're going to be one of the 4 in the playoffs.
I think they're going to be 2. I think Laine could go a lot of ways, but I think it's going to go well for them.
I think so.
Because that's the thing with them is they don't really play similar systems at all in terms of overall play. The Habs and Jackets do, but last year they were both teams in that they both work really hard, but they just don't have that many people to finish. Habs kind of fixed that by committee this year by just getting a bunch of really good okay guys in Tyler Toffoli and Josh Anderson. Like, they're not anybody like most of like the Lightning guys or whatever, but they're all gonna they're all gonna score. And then if you have a bunch of them on every line, I mean, so far it's working. But with the Blue Jackets, they are just a hard-nosed defensive type team. They'll work their asses off, whether they'll win or not. They're gonna be there.
They're gonna work because if they don't work, Torts is gonna bench them.
Well, there's that.
Bend them over the bench.
But they needed like a legit scoring threat. And then there is and now they have like an elite level scorer. Like they have a Lightning player level scorer. I'll just go back to the same.
Yeah, he's higher than a lot of the Lightning guys right now.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people are worried about the Tortorella situation of it all in terms of how is that attitude of Patrik Laine gonna work. I don't think there's gonna be too much of an issue in the sense that they just traded for Patrik Laine. This is after they've lost Artemi Panarin, Sergei Bobrovsky, and whoever. All those people. After you lose all those people and you're bringing in this big ticket guy, they're going to do the things to make it work with this big ticket guy because they essentially have to as an like you have to stop the bleeding at some point. But also on Laine's side of it, I think he's somebody that, I mean, his entire time in Winnipeg, it was more so that like he just kind of wanted to be put in the spot that he should be in. He should be a first line winger.
Yeah.
And if he's put there, he's shown that he can score. So I think he's going to get a chance to do that. And I think if he's going to be getting that chance, I think he'll within himself, I think he'll be able to be like, okay, I'm going to work my ass off then because I'm getting the chance to be this scorer that I want to be. Could go very differently than that, but that's what I think this is going to be.
Who's the starting center, or who's the number one center on Columbus right now?
Domi.
Domi. See, that's it's like Domi, Tessier, Mikko Koivu, and who?
Textier.
Oh, and Roslovic. So
Roslovic will be there.
He's more ideally like a second, third guy. I know. I'm thinking Domi's gonna be first, probably. From my experience watching him as a first line center in Montreal. It probably shouldn't be your first choice.
Was he ever paired with a Laine?
No, he was never paired with a Laine. That's the thing. The best he got. What would even be the best he got? I don't even know who he played with.
Brendan Gallagher.
I think he played with Tatar for a lot of time when he was center.
Center, I think.
No, Gallagher's right wing.
Oh yes.
But he was always. Yeah, I mean, they eventually got to him being with Danault, and anyway, we're getting off track.
God, I think Ben started on the Canadians.
Yeah,
he gets himself off track because he just wants to go into it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Domi's not what you want as a first line center, probably, but like he proved to be capable enough. And then if you put a guy that's capable enough with a very, very, very capable winger. That could work okay because, like you just pointed out, no, the Habs never gave him a line. Certainly not.
How long has it been since? I'm gonna let you go off on a tangent here. How long has it been since the Habs have had a Laine caliber player? And who do you think was the last like that caliber? It's been a while.
No, it's not never, but it's
been a little bit. I was thinking Koivu. Was it Saku?
Yeah, but as much as I love Saku, by the times he was kind of getting done in Montreal, like, I mean, it wasn't a terrible dip because like he still had some productive years with Anaheim after, but like he wasn't like world beater level like Laine is. But I think that was more so because of age, because like when he was younger, he was nutty.
Yeah.
Like he was the playoff performer too. Like he was a really good player. But other than that, fuck. The 2000s have been rough.
Ever since '93, it's been bad.
I mean, it wasn't '93. It was more so like '95 was the beginning of the end for like any current Habsisms. In terms of,
it shouldn't have been though. Like they had decent teams. Like they had Plecky, they had Patch, they had
14, 15. The stretch from like 2012 to like 2015. was the best stretch of Canadiens hockey since the early 90s, and I feel very confident in saying that.
I would agree.
I think that the thing I'm excited about is I think that the core that they've kind of assembled in like the last 2 or 3, 4 years that it looks like they're going to have for a long time is looking to be better than that. So that has me excited because that 2012 to 2015-ish era got them to a conference final. So it's like it's been good. I mean, that 2010 run was fun, but like
Is that the
conference
Halak
final,
run?
but it was a conference final, but it was like, I mean, should they be here? No, but it was fun. It was fun as hell.
Kind
That was
kind of like
that
the
was,
Senators when they made that run that one season.
Yeah,
Should they be
yeah,
there?
no,
not at all.
No, 2010 was the Habs just riding fucking Yarrow, Camilleri, and a dream to a third round
Camilleri.
exit.
I
Like
love Mike Camilleri.
Camilleri tore shit up that playoffs. It was like I think he had something like 13 points in 15 games. It was ridiculous. Like he was really good. But like, yeah, that wasn't really, I wouldn't consider that really a part of that. There was a few players on that team that definitely then became like, that was PK Subban started his career in the second round against Pittsburgh, matching up against Crosby. That was
That's tough.
I think he had actually, that might be incorrect. I think he had actually played like 2 regular season games against Philadelphia before that, but still like, okay, 2 games and then going to the AHL for a while. And then, no big. You're just replacing Markov.
Going against
Because Markov got hurt.
Going against the number 1 player in the world at the time.
Yeah. I don't know, actually. He might not have played all that much number 1 pairing time, but I know he did some. Like, he got some, like, significant ice time in those series, so it's like, the fuck? And he actually looked pretty good. Yeah. What were we talking about?
I asked you when the last... I asked you when the last time you had you had a like a big time score.
This is gonna be really sad. The closest thing would be Max Pacioretty.
You know, Max Pacioretty's a good player.
He's a lot better now that he actually has. No, he's proved himself to be really good in Vegas because he's not looked upon to be the only option. Yeah. Because for so long in Montreal, it was him and then Gallagher, I guess. But this was like before Gallagher had really risen to like Gallagher's like a perennial 30-goal scorer now. He wasn't that earlier in his career. He was just a really hard-nosed forward.
Yeah.
For so long, it was Max Pacioretty, and that is it. His most used centerman on the first line in his time in Montreal was David Desharnais.
Nice.
I love David, but
I remember that guy.
Like, never once did he get proper support, and everybody on Habs Twitter will be like, well, he was just, he didn't work hard enough. He wasn't a playoff performer, even though he's like a 0.75 point a game player in the playoffs, which like, no, it's not amazing. Like, that's not nothing.
That's really good.
Yeah. Like
compared to what most people did. Jesus, what are you asking for here?
Too much.
Habs
Twitter is not a kind place. Habs Twitter's not always a kind place, but yeah, no, I guess Patch, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, a little bit. That's okay though. You don't always need the star player, you know.
Which they're kind of showing this year. They're right now, not really. They don't have any huge star guys, but like they're killing it. And again, early they need to play some more against teams like the Toronto because they are proving to be the better team in the division so far.
It's gonna be so weird when these teams play each other, like outside division. Like when we get to the playoffs, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, after all season not doing it, when is the next time the Habs play the Leafs? Because it's like a weirdly long time.
I remember seeing something. So whoever obviously wins out of their playoff series has to beat 2 other teams this season besides the 7 they played throughout the year.
There's going to
be they essentially have to beat 9 teams to win the Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're going,
but like everybody's in that position.
Yeah, if you're going with that, you have to beat. Technically, you've got to beat 9 or 10, I guess.
Yeah, because how big?
But yeah, so the way it'll work is it'll be 2 series in the it'll be you'll have to win 2 best of 7s in the division. Then you'll have to win a best of 7 against someone from the other division. I'm not sure which divisions they're going to play each other yet. My guess is Canadian
East.
Yeah,
I think there's some amount of there's some kind of seeding going on with like regular season totals. I don't know what the process is, but I don't know if it's going to have anything to do with like geographical divisions. I think it's just going to depend on results.
Which wouldn't necessarily matter anyway. It shouldn't at that point, because why?
Right. You know? Yeah, because they haven't been doing anything with that all year, which is why there are those weird like possible situations where like a Boston-Montreal Cup final. I would be living for that. Like, please, yes. I want it so bad. Although, if they lose.
Then you don't want it. Then you'll feel like the Leafs.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, Boston.
I'd feel a lot better than the Leafs because it'd be in the Cup Finals. It wouldn't be in the first round 2 years in a row.
I think Boston's got some. They're going to be showing something special here. Not special, but they're going to be looking a lot better here soon.
I hope,
because they've.
I mean, they're going to be getting Pasta's
coming back.
I was going to say they're riding it out, getting for the time being without Pasternak and Marchand. So like,
I think they got Marchand back.
Marchand's been back for a couple times and he's been wrecking. So
yeah.
So
like they've been without Pasternak, and they're 5-1-2. So like, they're still good.
Yep.
But it's fun to see Chara doing well with Washington too. That's fun. It's also just still weird as hell to see Chara in a Washington jersey.
Yeah.
But getting back to the Habs don't play Toronto again until the 10th of February, and then they play then they would play Edmonton, and then they play Toronto again. But like they got Vancouver 3 times already. And then now their next 2 games are against Vancouver.
You guys are
getting all
a heavy
Vancouver out of the way
early
in the season. But then they play Ottawa Thursday, Saturday, Nick.
Ooh.
Yay.
So
yay.
I mean, who knows? That's even the last few years where Ottawa's been bad, like there's been plenty of times they've beaten the Habs just because those games are always like so hotly contested because those teams, generally speaking, don't like each other. Although most of the group that didn't like the Habs has kind of been traded away again from the Sens at this point. So I don't know how much of that will be left, but it'll be cool. I think some new kind of divisions of that might start to spring up this year just because.
I can say right now, the one thing that I'm really liking, and I wish they would play him more, is Josh Norris. Like, I think he's got at least 2 goals already.
Yeah, if there was ever a year to not like go so heavy on keeping your veteran guys in there and giving them more time, even when they're not like all the veteran guys have signed to like 1 year or whatever. Don't overplay them this year. Give your young, like, this is the weird fucking year that shit's gonna be weird anyway. Might as well give these young guys a chance to play some games, especially if they're looking good. Like, it's not like you're saying Josh Norris has been good.
He has been. I've watched. I have tiers of game importance for me to watch. Because most of the time, every night, I just put a game on, and it goes like lightning. It goes lightning, and then usually either Sens or Canadians, just so I can talk to you guys about stuff. So I've been watching a lot of Sens games, and their young guys look good, but man, their defense is real poopy.
I mean, who could have thought that using fucking Eric Goodbranson as like a major part of your decor wouldn't go?
I mean, he's paired with Shabbat.
That's just such an anchor on Shabbat.
I know, but like, so they pair him with Shabbat, and then the other 4 are
Dude, put Coburn with Shabbat. Come on.
I honestly haven't seen him much, but everything I've heard, he doesn't look that good. What do you think, Mike?
Braden?
Shabbat or Coburn?
No, Coburn.
Honestly,
he's not been great.
I can probably tell you Mike's watched more games than me. This team frustrates me when like I'll get a pop-up and 3 minutes into the game they're already down 2-0. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I don't even want to turn the game on at this point.
I would say I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be watching every game. Like there were definitely times in like the last couple seasons where the Habs got real bad.
I didn't watch a game.
Like
they got swept by the Jets last week, and I didn't watch a game of that series because I knew they were going to get swept. I didn't want to watch a game. They lost like 6-0 the first night. They put Hogberg in. They lost 6-1 the next night, and then they lost the third one. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they are minus 19 goal differential right now, which.
And Ben, I'll tell you this right now.
The worst by a lot.
The most consistent player on that team right now.
I know he's gonna say.
Maybe he doesn't prove it statistically wise. He kind of has been, but who do you think it is?
I know who
it's
it is.
It's not going to be anybody you think it is.
You might not even know the name.
I need to look at Ottawa roster because I honestly don't know that many players.
I think we've talked about this. I think we talked about this last week.
And it's still the truth.
Yeah. It's weird. But he's friggin' killing it. Like the way he tries the hardest, I feel.
He's their
Chris
only
Tierney?
No, it's Nick Paul.
Oh
Nick
yeah, you did
Paul
mention that.
is their best player right now. If you have to say Nick Paul's your best player when he's like should be a third liner, like what the fuck?
It's not ideal. No, it's not. It's not really what you want.
And like like Kachuk's playing good, and when they get Stützle back, I'm sure he'll be good too. But like,
yeah,
they got some work to do. And like
they do. They got a lot of work to do.
There are, and Mike can. I'm sure Mike can speak to it too. There are some bright spots on that team. Their young guys are good. Like Drake Batterson's good. Josh Norris is good. Kachuk's good. Shabbat's good. Like they have good players, but like when you have 7 players that are good and they're shuffled out across 3 different lines or whatever, like they're not going to do it.
I think you got to give. I think this is not their year. Obviously, I think their year comes in. Didn't Melnick say something like in 5 years? I would not
have a cup within 5 years.
I would not be surprised to see them reach a conference final in 5 years. What they need to do is they need to keep. I think they keep their offense how it is. Add pieces if you can, if not, whatever. And I think they need to go out and add defensemen, and they need to go out and get an actual number 1 goalie. Or maybe Matt Murray turns into that number 1 goalie.
I think you have to hope he will at this point because
I can't believe that
4 years.
I can't believe that he's gonna be like. He's only like 25.
I know he's young.
He couldn't have fallen off already.
He couldn't have, but has he?
I mean, yeah, if he keeps going this way, he might show us that yes, indeed, he can. But yeah, that's the thing. They're paying him $6.25 million a year for the next 4 years. I think you have him for the next 4 years because I don't think anybody's taking that contract unless he gets a lot better.
Yeah.
Or they eat a bunch of it like they did with Bobby Ryan.
Yeah. I don't know. Will Melnick do that?
And look how that worked out for him.
Yeah, Bobby Ryan's been killing it. Although I did just kick him off my team.
Yeah, he's not what you want for a fantasy team probably, but
he's gonna be like
for him.
He's gonna be like an in spurts type player where he's gonna have like a couple weeks where he's really good, a couple weeks where he's garbage like he used to be, and then a couple weeks where he's really good again. I bet.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to mention that I was going to mention, I think 30 minutes ago, was 2 teams right now are have not lost in regulation. Would you like to gander a guess? Ben, you might have seen it if you've been looking.
What's the Habs until last night? Fuck.
Yes. The Habs were the 3rd until last night.
Florida's one.
The other is totally one you'd expect.
Is it Dallas still?
No, Dallas lost twice now. Vegas? No, Colorado.
Not Vegas. Nope.
What?
What'd you say? What?
I have no idea.
It is the Washington Capitals.
Oh, that makes sense. They're still good.
Yep, still good. 15 points, leading the Mass Mutual East.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, we're gonna end this. We're gonna end this here.
Let me just add one thing. Without the Russians for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
actually,
also
they've been holding on. They've been holding down the fort.
TJ Oshie's been going off from what I've heard.
He has, yeah, he has. All right, we're gonna end this with a quick little poll here. Nick, who do you have for the Super Bowl?
Brady. Brady. So the Bucks.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Yeah.
Not that I want to say it, but I just think it's gonna happen. So
Ben,
I'm gonna say Bucks just because I think it's gonna happen.
I have Bucks as
know
well.
Nothing about football though, so
I have Bucks as well. I also know nothing about football. I want the Bucks to win because Tampa Bay, and because how do you bet against Tom Brady in a Super Bowl? I feel like you.
I just think on paper, if you compare those teams on paper, the Bucks just offensively obliterate them. Like
even with Mahomes,
they essentially have 2 number 1 running backs on that team who've worked half the snaps that they typically would through a season because they're splitting time.
Mm-hmm.
They really and I know Antonio Brown isn't who he used to be, but like they have 3 number 1 wide receivers on that team, where teams sometimes have 1, maybe. Like, so they have three of those great receivers, plus like role playing guys around them. They have a tight end in Gronkowski who is still proving to be a good player, and then their defense is good. So I have a hard time betting against them. As much as I personally don't like Tom Brady.
I will say, as somebody who's just like a different sports fan looking at football fans from the outside, whenever I hear people be like, "Oh no, there's no way Brady's the greatest of all time," or whatever, I don't like him either. But before this year, he had made 9 Super Bowl appearances and won 6 of them in a how many year career?
20.
So yeah,
in the 20s.
He's going into his 10th appearance in Super Bowls in like his 20th or 21st year. Like,
he's made it to a lot.
Like, if you looked at a career of anybody in like the NHL like that, they're amazing. They're fucking like it's very.
If they do that, they are ridiculous. Or they were carried by someone ridiculous.
There's plenty of Brady haters out there that are gonna say like, okay, 3 of those Super Bowls that he won are because of this guy, and this play, essentially. And you're like, okay, all that aside, look at his regular seasons. Like Brady, I personally like, putting my personal feelings of him aside, he never had like great, like he had Randy Moss for a while, but he didn't have great receivers for like a handful of years, and they were still really good. They never had the Patriots never
like you don't get overly committed on fringe guys, plug and play, like, and you'll keep.
And that's what they do. Champion. They've never committed like hardcore to a running back. Like they shuffle running backs every season. They do, like they had Wes Welker for a while, but like still, you have one pretty good guy, and then the rest are just like, who the hell are they? And it always worked for him. So like, whatever.
It's hard to not see the common denominator might be Tom Brady.
Yeah, you kind of have to look.
And then look at the Patriots season this year. They plugged in a new quarterback in a similar styled system of what Brady used to run, and the Pats weren't good. So
that could be because Cam Newton's not really that type of quarterback.
Yeah, Cam Newton is a very much subpar quarterback compared to him, but he's not garbage by any means. Like he's still pretty good. But they did the same thing. They don't have like,
they're missing the guy.
I call them skilled positions. They don't have skilled position players like wide receivers and running backs. Mm-hmm. So there's more issues to the Patriots than that, but
you kind of have to look back at something we talked about a couple weeks ago, the yardage record holders.
Yeah,
I think Brady's on top there. Or it's either him or Breeze, or was it Breeze or was it Rodgers? No, it was Breeze.
So I think Breeze has him in yards, but Brady has him in touchdowns, and there's like 4 statistics that Brady and Breeze are like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 in. And it just kind of goes back.
Yeah, so forth. You got to give it to one. You have to basically give it to one of those two, and then how many more championships does Brady have? Like you kind of just have to give it to him.
A lot, because Breeze only has 1. So
yeah, 5, soon to be 6,
probably.
Dude, I was gonna say something and I totally forgot. That's upsetting.
I'm going to throw something in just because I saw it on Twitter. Those Minnesota reverse retros, holy hell, they look nice in game action.
Those are beauties.
Although the goalies didn't.
Oh, no. They didn't do the pads?
No. So that looks real gross. But
Come
on the normal play, on like the skaters, it looks good.
Dude,
because on
so
the
what
goalies,
they got?
It's like the dark green and red, and it's it's not good.
That's nasty, man. Come on. Even Vassy has different pads for the black uniforms. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, so
to be fair, with goalie equipment, I know that like whenever you see a goalie like bring in new pads, they've been using those pads in a practice for like a month and a half or so, because when they get those new, they have to break them the hell in.
They got to be broken in.
Okay, maybe he just didn't have time to do that process to get them in there for this first reverse retro game. So there's that.
Yep.
But
Oh, I remember. I know
those
about breaking pads in, bud. I played goalie.
yeah,
Sucked at it, and I didn't like it. So I think, because of the Super Bowl next week, I'm gonna say we record on Saturday if we can. I don't see why we can't. So that's pretty much gonna end this episode, guys.
wait. Ooh, are we going to be recording mid game?
Super Bowl's on Sunday.
No.
If we record on
Sens.
Saturday, we could be recording
they
mid-game
Play.
Sens and Canadians. So we're
Yes,
gonna
they do play
I'll
we'll
have
get
Saturday.
to see some
I'll
live
have to
reactions.
let you know on that one because Aaron
Okay.
and I are supposed to go north next weekend.
Okay.
I'll bring my stuff with me to try. Hey, just time out. So the Sens and the Oilers just started.
Yeah.
They're
Ooh.
8 seconds into the game, and they're already down a goal.
No.
Exhibit A:
scored?
why I don't watch this team.
All right. Well, I'm
Who
gonna watch.
scored?
I'm gonna watch it. Probably McDavid.
Dominic Cahoon.
Kuhn
Oh, Cahoon's back.
with an
Cahoon.
assist from Draisaitl.
Oh, Jesus.
Draisaitl already has 10 assists this year, which is
Holy fuck.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
him and McDavid are stupid.
Uh-oh, Nick. No, it's good. All right. So that's gonna end this episode. We will see you guys in the next one. We hope you have a good one. And I guess let us know your picks down below. Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl? That's what I'd like to know.
Trevor, this one's at you. Let us know.
At Trevor P.
Wait, do we have dedicated listeners?
Yep.
Holy hell. Look at
All right.
us.
Everybody be safe, have a good week, and we'll see ya.